Have you ever wondered what it really means to love your neighbor? What if your neighbor was someone you least expected? Stop scrolling, because today we're diving into the timeless, powerful story of the Good Samaritan. This story begins with a simple yet profound question asked of Jesus. "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus, wise and compassionate as ever, turned the question back with another. "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" The expert in the law replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus affirmed his answer, but then came a follow-up question, one that led to a story that would echo through the ages. Who is my neighbor? And here is the story that Jesus shared. A man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho fell into the hands of robbers. They stripped him of his clothing, beat him, and left him lying on the roadside, wounded and near death. As he lay there, desperate for help, a priest happened to walk along the same path. You'd think a man of God surely would stop to assist. But no. The priest looked at him, crossed over to the other side of the road, and hurried past. Then came a Levite, another figure of religious importance. The injured man must have hoped, surely he will stop. But like the priest before him, the Levite crossed to the other side and avoided him. As hope began to dwindle, a Samaritan came upon him. Wait, a Samaritan? You need to understand, Jews and Samaritans at the time shared hostility and distrust. They did not associate with one another. The injured man might have thought, "This Samaritan won't help me. He'll just pass by as well." But what happened next was shocking. The Samaritan felt compassion. He approached the man, bandaged his wounds, carefully pouring on oil and wine, and set him on his own donkey. He escorted him to an inn and cared for him there. The next day, the Samaritan took out 2 denarii, equivalent to about 2 days' wages, and handed them to the innkeeper. "Take care of him," he said, "and whatever extra you spend, I will reimburse you when I return." At this point in the story, Jesus turned to the expert in the law. "Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell to the robbers?" And the answer was clear as day, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus then delivered the lesson for all of us, a lesson that transcends time, culture, and circumstance. Go and do likewise. The story of the Good Samaritan is not just a parable, it is a call to action. But here's something to reflect upon. Loving your neighbor means putting aside biases, stereotypes, and even personal inconveniences to extend kindness, compassion, and mercy. Now, imagine if everyone lived this way. Imagine a world where barriers of race, religion, and background dissolved in the face of love and humanity. It's not just a dream, it's a divine instruction. So, let's reflect for a moment. Who around you might need a Good Samaritan today? Is there someone you've dismissed, avoided, or judged who actually needs your compassion? This story tells us that being a neighbor is not about proximity, but about action. Let us remember, love knows no boundaries, and compassion will always be the way forward. Now go forth and do likewise.